My name's Whiteside. I've been a metal fabricator for 15 years. I've been in business for myself for about 4 years and had a ShopSabre in my shop for most of that time, 3 or 4 years, and it's been a great asset. We bought our first ShopSabre SideKick in 2020, and it was actually one of the magnetic torch holder machines. It's an affordable way to start, but with collision detection now, the bubbler, the deeper water table, the motors are faster, they're more precise. We got some more accessories with this one. We're starting to put our designer to work using the pen tool and the probe. Really, there's a lot of features that these things have to help with not only the initial design and prototyping, but also production and cranking parts out. So it really is a great cornerstone to our metal fab capabilities. I think we live in a world where there's a lot of information hitting us at once, and with that, there's a lot of cheap tools, cheap products that we don't know where they come from, we don't know how they're made, and we don't know how well they're made. So it's easy to get lost into real value, what you're getting for your money, and the companies behind the products you're buying. When it comes to an affordable CNC package like this, it is made in America. It comes with incredible customer support. Those are things that are often missing, I think, in American-made technology. This was the first big leap I took with my shop into the CNC world, and it's been really nice. It's a big investment for a small business, but it's one that was easy to justify and came with almost no buyer's remorse because it was so great. I mean, they nailed it right out of the package. Before I pulled the trigger on my ShopSabre, I did a decent amount of market research, and it seemed like every time I found a machine that had the same capabilities as the SideKick series, it was twice the price. I've been around the metalworking industry for more than half my life, and with this system, it sort of struck the perfect balance of, a cost that's easy to digest as a small business, but also you're getting all those features that you see being touted by the more expensive machines. I field calls all the time. People call my shop directly and was like, hey, we see your videos about ShopSabre, in your machine. Do you recommend this? What do you think about that feature? And I tell them all the same thing. Like, I'm a big proponent of buy once, cry once, but I feel like there's a lot more opportunities to cry with other CNC machines. You could spend twice the amount of money and not really get twice the amount of features. I feel in many ways I got really lucky. The fact that ShopSabre was the first machine I bought, as far as the amount of work that comes through our doors and sort of the money that we make at our admittedly limited capacity, a purchase like this is easy to justify. In CNC plasma, the cutting speed is fairly tightly controlled. Where these faster and more accurate motors come into play is jogging in between cuts. The whole gantry can move around the machine a lot faster. So when it's cutting over here and then it has to jump and cut over here, that transfer time is a lot faster, and everything's very accurate. The cuts are very high quality. Of course, with a CNC package like this, a lot of things have to work well. The plasma cutter has to be cutting right. You have your air supply and your power supply, but then the actual CNC machine needs to move in a smooth and predictable fashion. This is basically one item that you purchase. The table comes with the Hypertherm. Everything seems like it's dialed in, and when there's so many moving parts, it's nice that everything just kind of works right out of the box. I'm extremely impressed with the Hypertherm sync system. Literally plug and play. It's one piece, no guesswork. You put it on the torch, it talks to the power units. The power unit sets up for the right amperage based on the tip you put on. And one of the first things I cut with the new sync system was a giant 5x10 fixture table cut out of 3/8 plate, and there's over 1,800 5/8 holes in the surface of that. One tip cut basically the entire sheet. So one sync system tip pierced a 3/8 plate over 1,800 times without effort. When it comes to the wireless pendant, before you're kind of zeroing the machine with the keyboard, which can work fine, but oftentimes you have to walk around the machine, and zero it over there or on the other side. And having this basically pocket-sized pendant with you to not only move it, jog it, zero it. It also comes with features on the pendant that aren't on the keyboard, like the park feature, the XY0 feature. Basically, you can move the machine out of the way really fast, you can load, unload your plates, and then you can put it right back to where it was, all from anywhere in the shop. So recently, I've been growing the design side of my business. So here at LiftArc, we've always done custom metal work, and we still do. But unless you want to just crank out some kind of part all day long, you're going to have to offer some sort of design service in the custom world. And so, you know, we do everything from roll cages to railings for houses and everything in between. So prototyping is becoming a big thing here. You know, being able to show the customer what it is that either we propose to build them or what it is that we think they're asking for. Our designer here is really taking a liking to the pin attachment. You can create patterns, but you can also create one-to-one scale versions of our intended build out of cardboard or 1/4-inch plywood. So you can see it in real scale. You can cut it out, you can assemble it, not wasting expensive sheet metal. You know, because when you see a machine like this, that sort of traditionally you think just has like one purpose, and then you see something like the pin attachment, your brain sort of gets cracked open. You're like, oh cool, what else can we use this for? The best thing I think you can do in a shop environment is find ways to break out of limitations you might have. It seems silly to be so excited about like a Sharpie being strapped to a CNC machine, but the way it's implemented here and what we're able to do with it is really cool. Genuinely surprised how much I like that. It's very fun. I kind of have this syndrome where I walk around the world and I examine the welds around me, the craftsmanship around me. With any equipment that I buy, any tools that I get, I'm immediately like examining the build quality. And this machine is built like I would build it. And the welds are good looking, perfect penetration, everything's square, flat where it needs to be, and it's robust. I mean, the gantry is giant hunk of steel. It's not gonna warp with heat, and yet it still moves around the table effortlessly. You know, again, back to the motors. They're precise, but also strong enough to move this robust thing around. So, I mean, it's built like a tank. When you pick up the machine, when you get it and move it around, you would expect it to sag or flop. Like, it is one rigid member. In an environment like a metal shop, there's a lot of big, heavy things moving around. And if a tool is fragile or plastic, you know, you might be concerned with breaking it. And, you know, with this machine specifically, you're moving giant pieces of steel onto it and off of it all the time. There's forklifts, there's cars in and out of here. And not that I would, but I could bounce a car off of this thing, no problem. And I wouldn't really worry about the structural integrity. I'm consistently blown away with how good ShopSabre's customer support is. It goes beyond just the general question answering to the point where, you know, almost immediately and without hesitation, the techs at ShopSabre can log into the computer, make any necessary changes. One of the techs actually pulled up a Microsoft Paint window for us one time and like drew our part, drew an arrow, showed us like, this is what's gonna happen with the probe. This kind of investment can be so daunting, especially if you don't have CAD or engineering experience. Most of the people that actually call me are people that don't have CAD experience and whatnot. So when I can confidently tell them that there's a really helpful customer service side of the business that's there waiting for them, it helps them out. And like, just in my own experience, it's been really nice. Like talking about accessories, adding accessories to the machine. Okay, you figured out how the base machine works fine, but then like you see these accessories, but you might be worried, well, what's that install process like? What do I have to do? What do I have to change in my programming? They'll tell you everything you need to know and help you through it step by step. It really takes the guesswork out of things. Depending on your level of experience with metalworking, if you're doing it on a hobby basis, or you'd like to start a business, or you're currently running a business, or you work at a business, if you want to add CNC to your shop, there's obviously several ways to do it. I think the range of people that a machine of this quality and this price point, this appeals to, is really broad. As far as getting into a system that doesn't immediately overwhelm you, the SideKick series from ShopSabre is great. Basically as close to plug and play as you can get. Like off the truck to cutting apart. I mean, we did it in a day, which to me is huge. My time is money. You know, I have a business and 3 employees. I'm all over the place. So I don't want to spend my days assembling and fine tuning and problem solving a complex CNC machine. I want something that's gonna work and keep working, because at the end of the day, you want one of these to help you make money and to help you problem solve and like build things. Turnkey, plug and play at this price range is like, it's the trifecta, man, it's great. The first decade of metalworking that I did, I never had any type of automation. It was always like paper templates, handheld oxy torches, you know, cutting things out with angle grinders. And it's sort of like long division versus a calculator. Like, it's nice to know how to do it the hard way, but when you realize the benefit of being able to go from like bar napkin sketch to actual part in 5-10 minutes, that's where something like this really scratches my itch as a fabricator. And then you can take that ability to just like make a part real in a a quick amount of time and apply it to anything. So we're starting to do a lot more automotive fabrication here at the shop, custom exhausts, custom turbo piping, roll cages, that kind of thing. So in the automotive world alone, there's always a need for brackets, gussets, plates. You know, in the off-road world too, there's all kinds of like custom bumpers and roof racks and skid plates and all sorts of stuff that traditionally you make a cardboard template, mark out your holes with a Sharpie, lay that over a big plate of steel, and then you're tracing, and then you're cutting, and you're grinding, and you're bending. Being able to go from template to actual part is a lot faster now. It's great for the automotive world, but it's also great for furniture, architectural stuff. Signage, custom metal signage is a huge thing we do here. And that definitely would not happen without this. I mean, if you're thinking about buying a ShopSabre plasma cutter, I can't recommend it more if that wasn't already clear. Obviously do your research, but I can promise you're gonna come right back around to ShopSabre 9 times out of 10 because it's just that perfect sweet spot between affordability and quality. I haven't regretted it once. I don't see myself regretting it at all, and I'm really stoked I made the decision, so you should too. Buy one right now. Press buy now. I'm kidding. You can use that if you want.